You're probably aware that we have a pretty much an election going on in just a few weeks. A strange election that it is. The 2020 election might be probably the most unique election in American history, for damn sure. Nobody's going to even come close to disputing that because we're not even going to know what it's going to be like on election. I mean, as far as the winner, declared winner. I mean, I kind of know who's going to end up winning the presidency, and I am going to say that Joe Biden, when it's all said and done, is the next president of the United States. But everything is uncertain still at this point. But yeah, you got Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Basically, the lesser evil argument, as presented every 4 years to people like myself who gets very frustrated by a Democratic Party that pretends to be for working people, but ends up behaving like moderate Republicans at the end of the day. And I know a lot of corporate Democrats and mainstream normie Democrats get upset when I mention this. I mean, but the truth is the truth, and they don't want to be upset by me, pointing this out. Maybe they need to just throw a bone here and there toward the progressives instead of treating us like shit all the time. But it's understandable from fellow progressives when they get a little uptight and say, "We got to go vote for the Democrats, even if he or she are not your perfect candidate." The Republicans are they're scary, scary, scary. They're right. They're right. The Republicans are scary. But I hate to quote the 1996 U.S. taxpayers presidential party candidate for president. What was his name? Howard Phillips. And he said in 1996 between Clinton and Dole, something to the effect of, you know, voting for Bob Dole is like driving into a brick wall for at 55 miles an hour. Voting for Bill Clinton is like driving into a brick wall at 200 miles an hour, something along those lines. Well, I kind of look at it the other way around. Driving, I think voting for Joe Biden is driving into a brick wall at 55 miles an hour, and voting for Donald Trump is driving into a brick wall at 300 miles an hour. Your car is going to get fucked up either way by driving real fast into a wall. So, but the point is, I mean, I do understand. I still understand lesser evilism. There's a lot at stake with when it comes to the greater evil winning. Um, Trump's politically toast. He's politically toast because he handled this corona crisis badly from day one. So did the Democrats too. I'm not being partisan here, but yeah, Trump did handle this pretty badly. He acted like a jackass the other night during the debates. Not very presidential. And not one bit. He acted like a child. And then because he walked around without a mask and did not take the COVID crisis as seriously as he should have, and he even made fun of Joe Biden for wearing a mask, Donald Trump ended up getting COVID. Melania Trump, um, their son, Barron, all the people around him, about 20, at least 20 some people around Donald Trump, all got COVID. And I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there and take delight over Donald Trump having COVID. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't support him. But if I go and wish harm on people I politically disagree with, it suits me down to their level, and I will not do that. The only thing I'm going to wish on political opponents is political failure. I'm not going to go and wish them physical suffering. Now, some people are worse than others. I mean, there are some people. I mean, I'm doing a little side note. Um, Donald Trump politically want him defeated, and he retires and just stop with the BS that he's been pulling for the past decade. Um, George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, while I don't want them physically harmed, I would like to see George W. Bush and Dick Cheney arrested, put on trial for crimes against humanity, and put behind bars. I make no apologies about it. And I said this before and I'll say it again. I will tell you that George W. Bush was worse than Donald Trump. I will tell you that, and I make no apologies. And I get some liberals like, "You got to be kidding!" 500,000 Iraqis, innocent Iraqis, murdered based on a lie. Thousands, several thousand, around 10,000 American troops either injured permanently or are dead because of war based on a lie. Because of this war that was based on a lie. Let's see what else happened. We're entrenched in the Middle East, spend double digits, tens of trillions of dollars. And is there any wonder why we're $20 trillion in debt? I meant to say $20 trillion in debt right now. The economy is in the brink of collapse because of what the Bush years did. And the bullshit of the Bush years led to the false hope and change of Obama, who ended up becoming just another centrist, contributing to the problems. And because there was no positive change, a demagogue, a firebrand like Donald Trump came along, and pretty much, especially considering the opposition, Hillary Clinton was of the establishment. It's no wonder that Trump won in 2016. Not saying that that was a good thing. I'm just explaining that's what happened. Well, America's got tired of all the firebrands going on, and they're wanting conventionality and a sense of normalcy. So Joe Biden, who, to quote the amazing atheist, is probably as exciting as a bowl of warmed over oatmeal on a cloudy day. The man's going to more likely be our next president in a few short weeks. Um, as I said previously, I was prepared to vote for Joe Biden as a lesser evil, but in light of how I the direction of this campaign has changed tremendously in Biden's advantage. That he's now got a 14-point lead today. What, like October? What's the 6th, 2020? 14% lead. He's going to win. I mean, I'm like about 95% sure he's going to win. And instead of the lesser evil, I'm going to do what I've done most of my life, and that is vote my conscience. That's what I'm going to do. So there you have it. This election. So anyway, we have an election in a few weeks. So here comes the Green Party. Now the Green Party had nominated Howie Hawkins and Angela Walker as the candidates this year. I don't know Howie Hawkins personally, but Howie Hawkins, he might know who I am, but we know the same people. I've been in the Socialist Party USA for many, many, many years. He's been in the Socialist Party USA for many, many, many years. He was one of the founders of the Green Party. He's ran for various offices over the years and in New York State and done quite well to the point where people in New York are familiar with Howie Hawkins in the same way that people were familiar with Bernie Sanders running for various offices in the 1970s until in 1981 he became mayor of Burlington, and in 1990 the first socialist elected since the days of Victor Berger in the U.S. House of Representatives, and in 2006 he became the first socialist elected to the U.S. Senate. So Howie Hawkins, he's He's a serious contender in this race. So I'm not going to succumb to vote shaming. I get it all the time from people about the vote shaming, and it's understandable. Republicans are crazy; they're off their rails. I mean, they're nuts. And but I don't believe that voting third party necessarily help Republicans. When people like Hillary Clinton won or lost, excuse me, lost, she lost not because of Jill Stein and not because of Susan Sarandon, who is the favorite punching bag of corporate Democrats and progressive Democrats who are way too invested more so to the Democratic Party than they should be. They're not the reason why. Russia is not the reason why Hillary lost. The reason why Hillary Clinton lost is she's an unlikable person, and she's part of the establishment, and she was too good to campaign in places like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Those critical states that she needed to win. Those various states, and she made some politically stupid blunders. I've have a theory that Florida tipped over into Trump's favor, just barely so in 2016 because of the shooting that took place in Orlando at the gay club, whereby Hillary Clinton kind of threw the LGBTQ community under the bus over a radical person um, that was inspired to do the shooting due to this man's sick, twisted vision, you know, sick, twisted interpretation of Holy Scripture. And I do not necessarily mean. I'm not necessarily. I do not mean Christian fundamentalists this time. Um, she took the politically correct attitude about it and threw the gays under the bus and I think that was very wrong and stupid on her part. But anyway, I'm meandering again. She lost because she 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 lost because of her own stupidity, and there's that. The benefits of voting for the Greens, and this includes the benefit of voting Libertarians, because the Libertarians do kind of, on theory, tear votes away from Republicans, the way that people say voting Green tear votes away from Democrats. But here's the benefits of voting for the Greens, especially if you're on the left. You vote for the Green Party, they can get up to 5% in the national total in the votes on election day. They will qualify for matching funds up to $10 million federal matching funds. Can you imagine what $10 million would do to the Green Party if they were able to get the federal matching funds of $10 million? It would change the game in the United States. It would make the Green Party a serious contender. And I think that any vibrant democracy would have more than just two political parties. I mean, I'll give you some examples. In Canada, you have the liberals and you have the conservatives. The liberals are like the Democrats here, and the conservatives are like the Republicans. Um, you have the NDP. It's like a political party made for people who think like Bernie Sanders in Canada. So basically, in order to get shit done, sometimes the liberals needs to reach out to the New Democratic Party. Is what the name of that political party is in Canada. The political party that's filled with people kind of like Bernie Sanders. So the liberals need to reach out to the NDP to get things done occasionally. It keeps Canada's political Overton window to the left. And it's been very workable. In Germany, well, currently the Christian Democrats are in coalition with the Social Democrats. The Social Democrats in Germany are in coalition with the Christian Democrats. Christian Democrats are their conservatives in Germany. Um, it keeps Germany on the left to have the coalition government with the Social Democrats in that coalition. Um, But let's say the Social Democrats in the next election wins, and they reach out to the Green Party. It keeps the Overton window on the left. In Israel, they have like a really complicated proportional representational system. Let's say if the Labor Party defeats the Likud Party down the road in the next election, and wouldn't that be wonderful when that happens? If the Labor Party comes out as the winner, they usually reach out to a smaller party called the Meretz. The Labor Party is your standard center left social democratic or democratic socialist party affiliated with the Socialist International. Meretz is similar to Labor, except they're further left and totally pacifist. So you got a soft hawkish left Zionist party like Labor reaching out to a very, very pro-dovish, pro-peace, anti-violence left Zionist party called Meretz, and they do their coalition government. So, and then you got in places like Portugal, you got the Socialist Party, which is their main, their dominant center-left party. Sometimes they have to reach out to the Communist Party and the Green Party to form a coalition government. So this does, when coalition governments achieve with the smaller parties, the dominant party reaches out to the smaller parties and they work out a deal, and it keeps the Overton windows. You're on the left, keeps the country shifting leftward, and so that's how it works in those countries. And because it works that way, they're able to have nice states that we don't have here, like that free healthcare, and rather solidly strong unions, um, things of that nature. And so that's what would happen if the Green Party could be a shifter and a shaker, a mover and a shaker. The Democrats would have to reach out to the Greens to get anything done. And wouldn't you like to see the Democrats reach out to the Greens for a change instead of what the Democrats have been doing for the past 30 years, 35 years, groveling and playing by the Republican rules? Yeah, I know Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi calls Donald Trump an asshole in public. Not impressed one damn bit, because they call him an asshole and then they go and vote for his legislative agenda, vote for his judges, vote to give him more money for the military that he asked for, and they vote to reauthorize the Patriot Act. Democrats are controlled opposition by the right. So, I mean, this way the Democrats can be on their own, and they can reach out to the left and to make things happen instead of groveling and playing patty cake with the Republicans. And voting green basically means this: the Green New Deal that's being talked about right now by Democrats. Howie Hawkins invented the term Green New Deal. Howie Hawkins is the reason why people are talking about the Green New Deal. And he's offering the Green New Deal, which means green jobs. A, a short while back, I've heard him talk about Medicare for All. He kind of referred to it as an American NHS, National Health Service. That impressed the hell out of me, because Medicare for All would be great if we could have it. If we can have an American-style National Health Service. In other words, yeah, I would settle for Medicare for All, which is what Canada has, which Medibank is what they call it in Australia. It's a federal insurance system that covers the healthcare, the private health system, the largely private healthcare system. That's how it works in Canada. That's how it works in Australia. That's how it works in France. I'm fine with such a system, but I prefer socialized medicine. And Medicare for All isn't socialized medicine. You could make an argument that's socialized insurance, but it's not socialized medicine. I prefer socialized medicine, if you ask me. And the National Health Service is the way to go. And he seemingly mentioned the National Health Service in a very favorable way. That's what they have in Great Britain. Great Britain's the way, I would do healthcare if I had it my way in the United States. Of course, the Green Party's always been on the pacifist side of the equation, so they are opposed to these neocon wars, as opposed to the Democratic Party that has a large anti-war section, but unfortunately a large establishment section that succumbed to the military-industrial complex. But with the Green Party, you have a political party that's opposed to these anti to these silly neocon wars. On the issues of civil liberties, the Green Party stands fervently for free speech rights, abolishing the death penalty, and they want to sit there and pardon Julian Assange and Edwin Snowden. And I'm going to tell you, um, Chelsea Manning, as far as I'm concerned, she's a national hero for what she did. And same thing with Ed Snowden. So there you have it, folks. The argument is: do you vote for Joe Biden or you vote for Howie Hawkins? And in light of everything that's happened, I'm going to make an argument that maybe you could do a vote for Howie Hawkins. I still would tell people, if you live in a swing state, just think wisely about this. But it sounds like even in some of the swing states that Biden is doing very, very well. So there you have it. Why it's not a waste of time to vote for the Green Party. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you were triggered by what I have to say, comment anyway. Um, if you don't have a platform, or if you have a platform, if you're very, very passionate about something, I urge you to do it, because as a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to tell you and let you all know that we are the muckrakers of our time. Feel free to share this content on this channel. And most importantly, subscribe. I am American social democracy. And until next time, peace and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.